I'm about to go film the driving portion of this video, but I wanted to open it with a funny thing that happened during the unveil video. I was driving at like 5,000 or 6,000 RPMs in second gear trying to get good sound. And yeah, there was a cop sitting right there. So you can hear me pushing the clutch, and then we just coast by and Trent drops the camera down. Hi, I'm Eli from IgnitionTube, and this is my 192,000 mile Audi RS4. I set up to record this video and it immediately started raining. Anyway, like I said, this car has 192,000 miles on it, and I wanted to talk you through everything wrong with it. Now, when I say wrong, there are some issues with the car, nothing, you know, glaringly major that makes it undrivable. But I know a lot of these videos, when people make them, or at least when I watch them, it comes across as very whiny. So I don't want you to think, one, that I'm not grateful for the ability to purchase this car, and two, I'm not grateful for the condition that it's in, because it does have 192,000 miles on it, and it could be a lot worse. Now, in the last video, you heard me talk about how this car had a third gear grinding issue. All right, if it was gonna do it, it would do it here. In that video, we said that the MT90 redline transmission fluid that we put in the car from FCPro did not solve the issue. I am happy to report that as of recently, I have not been able to get the car to grind in the third gear. Someone actually left a comment on the unveil video, which, by the way, that was the most recent video that I posted, so if you haven't seen that, there'll be a card in one of these corners. I always get confused. But someone said that they put it in their G35 for the same reason, and over 2,500 miles, it just got progressively better and better. The same story is holding true here. The more miles I put on this, the less it seems to want to grind third gear. I actually have driven it pretty regularly over the past week, and I think I can count on one hand the number of times that it's ground into third gear. Grinded? Ground? Grinded? That's the only major update on the car. Now let's talk through everything else. We'll start on the exterior, we'll move to the interior, and then I will take you guys for a drive, because I didn't do that in the unveil video, and I know you want to hear this glorious V8. Exterior wise on the car, there are only a couple things, which is actually pretty amazing. The car was a Florida car its entire life, and so it does have some, I guess you could say, sun-related, heat-related issues. But my buddy Alex actually mentioned this to me after I pointed this out to him. Florida has very hard water in that it has a lot of minerals in it. When it dries, it leaves deposits behind. And two, Florida is very hot, if you didn't know. So what happens is when it gets sprinkler water on it or any sort of hose water on it and it's let to dry, especially in the hot sun, those kind of minerals bake into the paint. So on the hood, not so much on the roof, interestingly, and on the trunk, there are some really hard water spots. I actually took care of those on the trunk. I haven't yet gotten to the hood, but I will run you through what that looked like.
So I'm not gonna go too into detail here. We just did a detailing my S6 video, so a lot of you have probably seen that. If you haven't, again, I'll put a card on the screen, but a little clay bar action followed up by Meguiar's 105 heavy cut compound, and then I followed that up with the Manzurna heavy cut 400 that I used to one stage the S6. I think the watermarks had actually like etched the paint a little bit, because usually a clay bar would take minerals out of the paint, and after claying there was still stuff in the paint, so it required a heavy polish, and then I followed that up with another polish just to kind of smooth things out, getting them look shiny, and did both sides of the trunk. Here's the results. This stuff is all over the trunk of the RS4. Hit her with the two-step. Not perfect, but way better.
Another interesting thing that's going on here, and of course it's raining so it'll be harder to tell, but this window trim right here actually has some fading behind it. Of course, the rain just makes it impossible to see. My friend Jeff's B6S4 actually had the same issue that it does here. I believe it's actually underneath the clear that something starts either breaking down or something on those lines. So you can't polish it out, unfortunately, which would be really nice. I'd love to be able to fix it just quickly and easily. So the window trim is fading, but that's really not the end of the world. I guess I could always wrap it. What does bother me, as you can see right here, the actual rubber trim that goes on the window is very much broken and faded. Actually, the only window that's any good is the driver window. The driver rear window doesn't even have this. This is pulled off, and on the passenger side, there's like some, I'm gonna bring you in here. The previous owner or someone put like some filler, like putty in here behind that, and you can see it's gone all up the window. The wheels are a little bit rough. You can see some curb rash up there. They've definitely been refinished at some point. You can tell. If you look down here, you can tell they've been refinished at some point and not very well. So I think that would be a fun video in the future. If you'd like to see a wheel refinishing video in the future, definitely let me know, because I think it needs it. The most interesting, and by interesting I mean frustrating thing to me, is this rear wheel obviously again was refinished, but this tire is completely bald, and every other tire has some decent life to it. So I bought 4 used but newer condition tires that I'll be replacing those with. But like, how do you list a car and not say, hey, one of the tires is completely bald? Not a flaw, but something you guys asked about. It does have a Milltek valve. You'll hear that when we take it for a ride. All right, I'm gonna have to take you off the tripod for this one, guys. The bottom of the door blade here is in fairly rough shape. I guess this is a common issue, and this piece right here is discontinued from Audi. Usually they warp. Mine is not warped yet, thankfully, but yeah, the paint is definitely coming off on the bottom. There are some fixes that you can do when I get the car over to Mike's Auto Body and we run through kind of how to examine a used car. We'll also, I'm sure, run through how to fix this. This is another thing that I'm gonna have to ask Mike's opinion on. On camera, it looks like this rear bumper was resprayed. Like, it looks like a totally different color back here, especially when you go like that. But that could also just be how Daytona Grey is. I know it shifts colors fairly easily. This one probably frustrated me the most, and it's not because of the actual issue, it's because of how it was delivered. In the cars and bids pictures for the car, the seatbelt is set like this. You can see in this picture. And the reason for that is because there is a tear in the seat right there. But this was purposely hidden, and the seller texted me after I had bought the car saying, hey, just in full transparency, I hid that. And he also failed to mention, or rather he said hid, that the headliner is sagging. So not a great thing there. I mean, it's really bad in the back. It doesn't help that I always drive with the windows down, but that's something that my buddy Brendan and I are hopefully going to be able to take care of. I guess in the RS4 I am lucky enough that the headliner can just come out one of the rear doors and you don't have to take the windshield out to do it. The seller did mention in the ad that the sunroof doesn't work. It opens just fine, but if you open the sunroof like that, it makes a nice metal noise. There's something metallic rattling around up there. I think we'll probably be able to figure that out whenever the headliner comes out, but the sunroof will not close. It'll go to here, hit like the safety mechanism, and then come back to the middle. You have to like hold the dial down and like reset it to get it to go all the way in. The car does have LED lights. If you notice, one is not working over there. And then because it is a Florida car, the carbon trim has definitely yellowed. The tint was 20%, so I had to get that redone. Everybody on my YouTube comments says I don't like tint. I do. Massachusetts just says 35% is the legal limit, so I had to get that redone. Under the hood, very hot, very hot. The cabin air filter was disgusting. I'll do that in an upcoming video. I have a video coming on like 5 things that you should replace as soon as you buy your used car. This is a common issue on pretty much all of the RSs, this carbon fiber, the clear coat yellows. I've never seen it red. Like, this one's yellow, that one is straight up red. But things are clean in here. It needs injectors. I also am going to do probably a carbon clean at the same time and some JHM intake spacers. If you didn't know, these manifolds have issues with their flaps. I guess they have flaps internally, and the flaps will fail over time. On the B6 and B7 S4, the flaps are made differently and they'll fall into the cylinder and cost you a motor. On the RS4, they don't fall in, they just fail and they cost you power. People also asked, has this car had the chains and tensioners done? Now, the beauty of the RS4 motor is Audi realized their failure with the B6 and B7 V8s, and they switched from plastic tensioners to aluminum on these cars. So this car actually did have chains and tensioners done at 170,000 miles, but it's not necessarily necessary. We did go underneath the car at FCPO and discover a couple things. All right, JR's working on his tires over there with the world's loudest machine, but the oil pan appears to be leaking from the back, like pretty significantly. The oil's made its way all the way back here, but it's especially apparent at the front, up there. This axle boot is completely torn. Other than that, things are pretty clean under here. We need a rear boot too. Yeah. So we need an axle boot back here. My man Berto giving me the rundown on this big girl. But things are clean-ish. It is weird, the front subframe is like fresh. Here is an interesting issue, and with 192,000 miles on this thing, it's okay. But every time you start the car, the radio turns on to set volume. And if I try to turn it down with the volume knob, I'm turning it to the left. Oh, that actually worked. Well, usually when you try to turn it down with the volume knob, the volume goes up. This nav system is so antiquated that I'm probably just gonna replace it. One of my buddies has a CarPlay setup for his B7 RS4 that he's getting rid of, so I think I'm just gonna snag that off of him and toss that in here. All right, let's go for a ride down the road that I think I almost got pulled over on, but like, I don't know, maybe I'm just being dramatic. A couple things with this car when you drive with the windows up. One, like I said, there's a rattle from somewhere up here. Two, there is a rattle from somewhere down there. And what I think it is, I have a sneaking suspicion that the car needs motor mounts and a transmission mount and potentially even a torque arm. Love that. You can definitely feel if I hit the gas here. Like if you put your hand on the shifter, you can feel everything shift back and then clunk forward, which is, I mean, it's solvable. And so everything that's wrong with this car, pretty much, is solvable. The interior rip, whatever, the headliner's easy fix. The car needs injectors, which is a job that we'll do, I'm sure. But there's nothing crazy wrong with it, if that makes sense. Someone almost just, that would have literally totaled this car if that person had turned into me. It did have a clutch done in 170,000 miles, so that's nice. Like I said, it's got the Milltek valve, so makes some good noises. I've been trying not to rev it all the way out, just because of the injectors, and I don't know how old they are. So occasional visits to 8,000 RPMs as opposed to once I do that, I'm sure it'll be like once a drive, we wind it all the way out. The front brakes are new. The rears will need to be done at some point. They have a nice lip on them, but the pads have plenty of meat, so you know, as long as the fronts are done, those are the really expensive ones from what I know. I really like it. I mean, did I get the greatest deal on it? I think I got a decent deal. RS4s are not cheap cars to maintain. Not like B5 S4 or C5 RS6, which by the way, that was the first RS car in the US, not the RS4 like I said in the unveil video. But it's not like a 3.0T S4 where you just put oil in it and, you know, like change the DSG fluid. It definitely needs some loving, and I think I expected that to a certain degree. Am I happy that I bought an RS4? Absolutely. This car requires a lot of self-restraint on my front, which I've clearly proven I don't have because of how much I bid on the car, but on the highway, when you're in 6th gear, it just wants you to crack off like 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and just wind it out to 8,000 RPMs, grab 4th, wind it out again, and before you know it, you're probably doing like, I don't know, 110, 20 minutes later, because it's not very fast. Sorry, RS4 owners. But I don't think this car is about being fast. The S6 is always going to be my fast car, and that was going to be true no matter what car I bought. The S6 is, I mean, it went 11.0 on stage 1. I am very happy with my purchase. Thank you all so much for the kind messages, the support, everything on that first video that went out. I could not believe how many people are like, man, like that is a cool car. I mean, I knew some people liked it, but I didn't realize how many people loved the RS4. And the more I drive this car, the more it makes sense. So I would say, if you have the opportunity to buy one, they're only going up in value. RS4, or if IgnitionTube subscribers all buy up the available RS4s, then we can drive the prices up to whatever we want. It'll be like a GameStop situation. So if you have the means to go buy an RS4, buy one, and then shoot me a message, and let's decide what we're all listing them for. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really, really, really am so happy about the car. Go out there and spread some positivity, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I was gonna do a pull here, but going across the intersection, so we'll end it with not getting T-boned.